To Iran, where the supreme leader says authorities should be open to talk to protesters, but rioters should be, quote, put in their place. They were the first comments from Ayatollah Ali Khamenei since the demonstrations against rising cost of living began. At least 10 people have been killed. Thousands have taken to the streets across Iran in recent days, angry about the state of the economy. Inflation is soaring, food prices, they're rising, and the national currency has lost nearly half its value since June. So let's cross to the Iranian capital of Tehran. Tohid Asadi joins us from there. So Tohid, given that warning from the supreme leader, what is the mood, what is the appetite for protest now?
Well, actually, what we heard from the Iranian Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, seems to be essentially a twofold statement. As you mentioned, first of all, he recognized the actually demands of people with respect to the economic problems that they are facing. And on the other hand, he warned against protests turning into riots. This is something interesting in that the government, the state comes out to recognize the right of people to take part in peaceful protests. But speaking of the very protests, we have to keep in mind that either people come to the streets or not, the demand is out there, and that is related to the economic difficulties that people are facing in respect of their daily life, including the rising prices, the high inflation, and the dramatic devaluation of the local currency. This is putting all in all a huge amount of pressure upon the shoulders and inside the pockets of people. And on that, people are now coming to streets sporadically, but over the past few days, I would say now over the past 1 week, we have been witnessing protests in different cities, including here in the capital and in other small cities of the country as well.
Yeah, tell us more about that. I was going to ask you about how widespread these protests are. We're seeing them across the country, right?
Well, it's yet to be called nationwide. It's yet to be called gaining the momentum. But it's still, again, as I told you, we have to pay close attention to the fact that this is coming from economic problems, and people are waiting not on how the government is going to respond to the protests, but to the solutions that the government is going to provide the ordinary people with. And speaking of the scope of the protests, as you asked, we know that so far 14 people, including security forces, have been killed across the country, and we have been witnessing here in Tehran. Last night we saw small-scale protests in some neighborhoods of the country, but outside the capital, also in the small cities like Neiris, like Kazarun, like Meshhad, we have receiving reports, and we have getting actually videos coming from the social media indicating that there are protests, even though sporadically, taking place, and that will be going on as long as the economic difficulties persist.
Tohid, thanks for that. That's Tohid Asadi joining us there from the Iranian capital of Tehran.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.